Good afternoon, everybody in Facebook land. It is that time again. It is Wednesday, 2 o'clock. It is time for episode 4 of My CP Does Not Define Me. We are live on Facebook. You may notice that the background has changed quite a bit because I am not in my normal setup. I'm actually having to use my roommate's computer to do my broadcast. I want to thank him for that. My computer is currently being repaired, so that is the end of that. As my viewers come in, please comment. Let me know who you are. Welcome. Thank you for joining the show. Great to have you. Great to see you. And great to have you be a part of My CP Does Not Define Me. Now, this show is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to talk about some things that, well, I need to talk about concerning CP, and we're going to hit 4 topics today. Now, the title of this episode is I Am Normal with My CP. Now, what I want to talk about in that, okay, there's 4 subjects that we're going to cover today. As I've said, hey, Nikki, thank you for joining me. Appreciate it. I hear this word a lot, and it's actually kind of, to me, it's played off quite well that, people with CP aren't normal. And I've said this before. Normalcy, no one can truly define that. No one can truly define what normalcy is and what normalcy is about. And when it comes to disabilities and when it comes to CP in general, we are looked at as a class of people that are not normal. The hard part about that, and the hard part to talk about that, is because of our disability or of our CP, we are looked at as a person that is different already by the way we talk, look, act, and have to do things. So now you've got this class and you're looking at it going, wait a minute, how can I be normal to society when I'm already doing things different? Let me explain this in a simple way. No one is normal because everyone has problems. That's the easiest way to explain this whole thing. I do want to point out, if you guys hear anything, we have upstairs neighbors now, and they're very loud. So hopefully it's not picking up on Facebook. Hopefully it's not picking up on camera. I'm not sure. I do apologize for that if you hear anything. The problem is that the first thing we've got to realize is, how do we view ourselves as people? How do we view ourselves as, let's call it straight, as disabled people? Do we view ourselves as disabled people, or do we view ourselves as normal? Because normal to me changes constantly. Normal to me changes constantly. Let me define this. Okay, we're all home because of COVID-19. We're all home because we can't go anywhere. We can't do anything. We've got to stay at home, blah, blah, blah. Can't go to the beach, can't go to the mall, can't go to the movies, da, 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 da. This is becoming, and I've heard this referred to as the new normal. All right. Let me stop right there. There's nothing normal about this, because this itself has to pass, okay? This itself has to go through whatever course it's going to take, however long this is going to take, and then we've got to see as, what do we do from here? So going back to the question I asked earlier that Nikki just answered, do you see yourself as disabled? Okay, there's no right or wrong answer to this. Okay, there's no right or wrong answer to this question. If you see yourself as disabled, that's fine. Okay, because maybe you've come to grips with this. Maybe you have come to grips with being disabled. Maybe you've accepted it. That's different. Seeing yourself as disabled is okay. But knowing that you can do anything you want regardless of your disability, That's the goal you want to get to, hopefully. I can't speak for everybody. I can't speak for each individual person. I can't, sit there and say, oh, this is what this person thinks. Again, welcome to the show. If you're coming into the show, please comment. Let me know who you are. I would love to hear from you. If you're not able to comment, you can send me a message. You can text me. You can also send me an email. I'll be glad to get any questions or put them in the comments. I'll answer them as they come through. The problem is that the world that we're looking at it is so big. Everything right now has to be broken down. Okay? Now, again, I titled this, I Am Normal with My CP. I've said this before. Every case of cerebral palsy is different. What is cerebral palsy? It's a birth defect that causes a lack of oxygen for an undetermined amount of time. It can be 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, sometimes longer. Okay? It can affect every muscle in the body from the top of the head to the bottom of the toe. Okay? It can affect speech. It can affect swallowing. It can affect top, upper, arms, legs, feet, toes, spasms, all this stuff. Okay? And we'll get into the mechanics of CP in a little bit. The problem is when people see it and they're not used to it, okay, they're afraid of it. And we've said this also. People are afraid of what they do not understand. People are going to be afraid of what they don't know. They're going to ridicule it. They're going to make fun of it. They're going to do things that they shouldn't. Is that right? No, it's not. But we as people that have the CP have to stop it. And we have to make it known that it's happening. Okay? If we don't do anything about it, if we don't push it out there, if we don't share videos like this, if we don't get this stuff out there and let people know, hey, this bothers me because this is happening. You shouldn't make fun of me. You shouldn't laugh at me. I'm just like you are. I just have to do things different. Now, I'm going to move on to my second topic for a second. There are some people in the world that are going to hurt you. Everybody is not your friend. You can know somebody for most of your life. You can know somebody for 2 years, 10 years, 15 years, however long. Okay? You can have friends and you can have business associates. You can have acquaintances. You can have people that just want you to do stuff for them. You can have people that are going to tear you apart. You've got to decide whether or not you're going to weed out your garden. There are going to be people in this world that are going to tell you they're your friend. They're going to tell you that they support you. And some of them may, okay? You may have those people that support you and that are good to you and that love you and that village that Miss Winnie talks about so often. You may have that village. But people are going to come and go in your life all the time. That's the first thing. You have to decide of those people when something happens, okay, and when you're offended or you're hurt, and I'm talking about when you're hurt because they say or do something or call you something from your disability, and I'm going to go into a lot of this because this is heavy. This is very heavy. Sometimes you've got to develop tough skin. Okay? Me, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. When I'm mad, you know it. When I'm upset, you know it. And I'm not gonna lie. If you ask me a question, if I'm pissed at you, I will tell you. I did forget to mention earlier, unfortunately, we're not on Let Go Radio today. We're just on Facebook Live because I don't have access to the system. Again, my computer's being repaired, so I didn't get a chance to mention that earlier. I'm sorry about that. And I'm going to go through my updates at the end of the show also, so I've got some for you. But, people, you got to remember, people are like sponges, okay? Some people go into the sponge and they absorb and they suck right through. Okay, some people are going to bounce off. Some people are going to be, want information. And you got to remember the hardest part about this whole thing is everybody comes in. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please, please, please comment. Let me know who you are. I'm happy to see you on the show. As these people come in, you got to take it, and this is the hardest part. take it as if they don't know and they've never seen CP before. You've got to try to put yourself in their shoes. Don't assume. Don't assume, because it's hard. When we had I think it was the CP conference the year before last. We had a lady, I can't remember her name. She spoke about people staring when they stare. Don't stare at my daughter, but but don't look at it as staring. They may be staring at you because they think you're beautiful and they're scared to tell you. You have to. What the phrase I was looking for that I was trying to find is, you have to put it in a different perspective. You have to put CP in a totally different perspective all the way through. And I'm talking about life-wise. Look, stuff is going to happen in your life that you don't like. People are going to get mad at you, and you're going to get mad at them. You can either hold that and keep it to where it is and not do anything and walk away or roll away from it, or you can try to figure it out, or you can talk to them, or you can just sit there and you can let it fester. But when things fester, and especially with CP-related issues, eventually, I'm going to tell you, you're going to blow up. And when you blow up, you don't do anything but hurt yourself. You don't do anything but hurt yourself. Now, I was talking about weeding out the garden earlier. There are people in this world that tell you they're your friends, and the only time that you hear from them, or the only time that they talk to you, is when they want something. Okay? They don't talk to you when you're going through something. They're not there for you when you're hurting. They're only there when they want something. And there are lots of people like that. It doesn't mean that they're not your friend or they don't care, but I would say that they don't care enough, and you've got to decide if you want that kind of thing in your life. Okay? I can annoy people. I can annoy people to the point of whether they feel like they want to take a baseball bat and crack me upside the head. That's their choice. They swing that baseball bat, I'm going to take it from them and put it where the sun don't shine. Just let me let you know. Yeah, you're going to pop like a balloon if you're mad. You're exactly right. If you don't control the anger, you can't let it sit. It has to go somewhere. You've got to get it out, but you've got to get it out in a positive manner. And, a classic example of this, when I dress, I have to, put my pants on just like one leg at a time, just like everybody else. For a person that is able-bodied, they can step into theirs, one leg, pull it up, step into the other leg, pull it up. I don't put my pants on that way. I'm getting a little personal here, but I have to kind of drop my pants down, hold on to them, slide it on one leg, hold that leg up, pull the leg up, try not to get it caught on my footrest. If it gets caught on my footrest, I got to take my footrest out, take my footrest off, do it again, and my foot goes in the wrong hole, toes go in the pocket. It's frustrating. And you're sitting there thinking, what in the world? Nothing is going right. What you have to do is you've got to stop. And you've got to think, all right, I'm in a situation right now. I'm in a situation in this. I got to figure out where I'm at. I got to figure out what's going on. I got to figure out why this is bothering me. Okay, sometimes you need a reacher. Sometimes you need a stick. Sometimes you need a fork. You would be surprised. One of the greatest kitchen tools I use that helps me with my CP is a pair of salad tongs, because it acts as a second hand. Okay, it acts as a something that can help you in that situation. Now, one of the hardest things I have to do in getting dressed in my life and dealing with CP is putting on my socks. I can't do it. I've tried sock helpers. I've tried those little foot things that you slide your foot into. Okay, I got big feet. I'm going to just go ahead and tell you now, I got big feet. I got big foot feet. They are wide, and I wear a double E shoe. Okay, I wear a wide shoe, a double E wide, because I have my feet are wired this way, but not this way. Okay? So in order for those sock helpers and little things like that to work, I got to have something that can open up and actually slide over my foot. Okay, that's one thing. But then you got the sock on it, and the sock is pushing like this, and the sock helper needs to go like this to open the sock up and put the sock on your foot. Look, point I'm trying to make is you can get mad real quick. You can get mad real easy, and you got tons of stuff to get mad about. But you can't stay there. You can't stay there. Now, going back to friendship, and I'm going to talk about this with CP, okay? Everybody cannot be in that circle. Some people say, I have a huge circle of friends. Do you really? How often do they call you and tell you they love you just to tell you? Just to tell you with no strings attached. How often do they call you and say, hey, are you doing okay? How are you feeling? What's going on? What you thinking about? You want to get out and go fishing? Want to get out and go for a walk? Want to get out and do something? Hey, Brittany. Hey, Josh. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. How many of those people actually call you and actually take time to listen to what you're saying? Okay? How many of those people at 2 a.m. would answer your call? If you were dealing with something and needed somebody to talk to, and you you can't find a way out, and you're just sad, you're emotional, you're crying, you're upset, you're trying to figure out what's going on. How many of those people that are in your life, and let's say you're dealing with something with CP, let's say you're really dealing, what would it take for that friend to actually listen to you at 2 o'clock in the morning when you're dead asleep and that person calls you and wakes you up? What's your first reaction? Sometimes it's, do you have any idea what time it is? Why in the world did you just call me at 2 a.m? There are some friends that I'm that way with. But there are some people in my phone, when they call me, I don't care what time it is. Because it's them. Jack Dart is one of them. Winnie Wilson is one of them. My mother is one of them. My mom ain't never going to call me at 2 a.m. I can let y'all know that. My mom dead to the world 2 a.m, y'all. But look, you got to understand the people that you connect with, the people that are I want to say solid. Those solid people. See that's one of those things. That's one of those things. Yes, Nikki. That's one of those things that is. It's a. You can't just have friends that are close everywhere, because it doesn't happen. Here's another thing with CP, and you and your friends both, or whoever, people are going to get tired, and I need to talk about this one because this one stresses me out. I do a lot of things for a lot of people, but I do it because I want to. Okay, there are some people that could ask me, "Hey DJ, will you go on top of this roof and jump off of it?" And I would do it. I'm not stupid. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to sit there and say, "Hey, I'm going to jump off a roof because I'm stupid because somebody told me to jump off a roof." No. Look, there are those certain people that are connected to me here, inside deep, and I'm talking about, okay. And I've had friends that I've known for 12 years. 12 years. Out. Straight out. Ain't heard from them since. And don't know why. But you know what? You know what I realize? That's their decision. Now, I know what you're asking. What in the world has this got to do with CP? It's a lot. Because for me, a lot of my cerebral palsy is based on emotion and emotional support. There is an emotional side to cerebral palsy that a lot of people don't know about it. and I've said this, and thank you, Nikki. I've said this 100 times. People get tired of driving me places. People get tired of talking to me. People get tired of helping me get my socks on, helping me get my shoes on, helping me with stuff I need help with. But I wonder a lot of times, do those people think I ever get tired of having CP? Do those people ever think about how frustrated I am that I have to ask them over and over for the help? And people say, oh, you can just drive, man. You just scared of driving. Let me tell you something. There's a big truth to that. I am scared of driving, but I also know what is inside my limitations. And there's not many times I will say this. There's not many times I will say this. But I'm not going to hurt anybody else. And if I get behind the wheel and have a 1% chance of hurting anybody else, I'm not going to do it. That is why I don't drive. And you can say I'm scared to death, and you daggone right. I'm scared to death that I might kill somebody, and I don't want that on my conscience. You want real, and you want CP big time with my CP don't define me with DJ Carter, I'm going to tell you what, I am not going to kill anybody. Because if I hurt anybody or hurt a little girl or hurt a couple or hurt somebody else and kill them, I can't take that back. And I'm not going to take it back, and I'm not going to take the chance. So that's why I don't drive. The emotional side of CP sometimes is devastating. Devastating. Okay? You can have people get mad at you for something, and they can be mad. Okay? And this works both ways. Let me say this first. Everybody has to put the shoe on the other foot. You've got to try to see how they're feeling. You've got to try to see how you're feeling. You've got to try to look at it in a different perspective. And it's hard. For me, it is hard. For you, it may be hard. For the folks watching and listening to this broadcast, it may be hard. But sometimes you got to step back and say, look, is it really worth it to be this mad? What am I truly mad about? I thought I had patience. I can use a lot more patience. Man, I thought I had patience. God almighty. Been in the chair 38 years. I swear I thought I had patience. Oh my God, can I use more? I bug the crap out of people sometimes. I'm not trying to do it. It's not my intention. But it's never your intention to hurt anybody, or it shouldn't be, but you do. Look, if I hurt you, I'm sorry. That's all I can do. I love you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. You know who I'm talking about. I didn't mean to hurt you. That was never my intention. I'm sorry. I love you. That's all I can do. Your choice whether to step out. I look at, the emotional side of CP. Little things are not so little. When you get your shoe on for the first time, you know how good it feels? When you get your socks on for the first time by yourself. I did it one time. I got my socks on with a reacher. It took me an hour and a half. It took me an hour and a half with a reacher. Because with a reacher, you can only work one side at a time. And gravity don't play well with CP. Let me tell you. When you're trying to put your sock on, and you're trying to get it up one side, pull, and you're trying to get it up the other side, pull, and you can't get it up there because it just don't work. Let me tell y'all, it is tough. It is tough to the point I cried. I cried like a baby because I got my sock on. Because for me, that was a thing. And then people will say, well, if you did it once, why don't you do it all the time? Because right now, that's not where I'm at. Right now, that's not where I'm at. And you got to understand, every part of CP is your journey. It's your individual journey. Remember that. And no matter what, okay, I could lose everything I've got. And I'm going to touch on this too. We're going to get into part 3 in just a minute. I can lose everything I've got and still be me. I could lose my family. I could lose my wife. I could lose everything I've got and still be me. It would hurt like hell. but I would still be me. Because I have to be the person that God intended me to be. And God's got me. If everybody walked out on me today, God still got me. God's not going to turn his back on me. I may turn my back on him. Now listen to what I said now, because this is important. People with CP have to remember that other people have lives too. You've got to take this as a two-handed. You got to take a little constructive criticism. I don't take criticism well, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. Okay, that's something that I need to work on. I don't take criticism well. Okay, but other people have lives too, and as CP, as much as we want people to realize that we are normal and we're the way we are, we have to realize, and two, it's give and take. In every relationship that you're in every individual friendship that you're in, whether it's a friendship or if it's a just do something for me ship, you got to realize it's give and take. It's pull, 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 boom, 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 boom. There's no, very, very rarely do you stay in that happy medium. You can for a little while, but there's something that's going to come up. There's something that's going to come up. There's something that's going to irritate you. There's something that's going to tick you off, and it's going to tick that person off. And when you butt heads, you're going to butt heads strong. You're going to butt heads strong. Okay? I don't, sometimes I don't think about other people. Sometimes I just think about me. Okay? That's me. That's something that I need to work on. Okay? And I'm hoping that this episode kind of enlightens some people, because as hard as it is to deal with CP, it may be hard for the other person that doesn't have the disability to deal with it and understand it. They might have to step back and go, what in the world am I dealing with? I don't know if I can deal with. Look, I don't know if I can deal with this. I've told my friends that are my friends that have been friends with me for a long time, being my friend is a lot of work. Okay? I had CP when I first knew you. Grandmaster Preston Rogers, thank you for joining, sir. Love you so much. Thank you for joining. I had CP when I knew you, and I'm gonna have CP when you if you leave or if you get mad. The thing that I have to remember is everybody has their own time and everybody has their own life. Okay? And there are going to be points where people may not want to help me get my shoes on. And people might not want to help me get my socks on. And people might not want to hear how I'm feeling. And that's okay. But they got to have the heart to tell me and be honest with me and say, man, look, I'm not feeling that right now. Nothing against you. Nothing like that. But it is what it is. Okay? People have to understand that the only way we're going to get through this CP barrier that we have, whether it's the person with the CP or the person on the outside looking in, the only way we're going to get through anything, the only way you're going to get through any problem is to work it out. Okay, I'm not trying to be funny, but you got to work it out. What did Martin Lawrence say? Work it out. You got to work it out through talking. You got to work it out through communication. Sometimes you got to pick up the phone. Sometimes you got to leave a message. Sometimes you got to write a text message. Sometimes you got to be a bigger man and say, you know what, that's on me. I'll take that. That's me. I'm sorry. That's me. That's all my fault. Go ahead. I'm good. I'll take it. That's me. Sometimes you got to be the better person and you got to step back and assume responsibility for the whole daggone thing. I'll do that. That's me. Okay, that's fine. But in the same sense, you can only carry what God says you can handle. And sometimes it's too much. And when something is too much, that's okay. You have to be able to admit, look, I can't handle this. And I think, see, that's another part of the CP barrier right there. A lot of people that look at cerebral palsy, they see it and they go, oh my God, ooh, gee. It's that first initial shock that they take, and it's like getting chucked in the gut with a dodgeball that you weren't ready for, because it's a piece of something that they don't understand, and it's scary. Let me tell you a story. I mentioned this before. When I was little, you ever see a homeless person that is dirty and dressed in raggedy clothing and smells, 2 weeks high of hyenas? I mean, just they come in and they're walking and they're literally down to nothing, and they're trying to get something to eat because they're scared and hungry and need a place to just chill for a little bit. The first time I was 12 years old, and I saw this homeless dude, and he came in and he started talking to me. He scared the living out of me. I'm like, what the is going on here? Don't talk to me, don't, oh my God, no. And after I did that, I saw my mother go to this man and give this man some money so he could eat. And this man cried because he was so grateful to have the money that my mother gave him. He tried to give it back. And she said, no, honey. She said, you just get yourself something to eat. And I can't remember exactly what happened after that, but I know at the end I went up and I apologized to him. Because we've all been down. And we've all been out. Now, I'm not sure if we've all been homeless or not. I can't speak for that. God willing and the creek don't rise. I've never been homeless and I never will be. But I'm not saying it can't happen. Okay? I've been down pretty low, and my mom has bailed me out. Now, I'm going to be honest. I told you, this show is real. It's all about CP. We all wear different hats, people. We all wear different hats. And you have to realize sometimes the stuff that you deal with, somebody else may be dealing with something a little bit bigger. So that person that ridicules you, or that person that says you're different, or you're crippled, or you're retarded, or whatever the words you don't like, and I hate using those words, as bad as that hurts, and as mad as you want to get, try your best. And it's hard in the situation, guys. Trust me, I've dealt with situations this past week and these past 2 weeks by myself that's been hard. And I've acted wrong in the situation. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I acted wrong in the situation. Way too much wrong. But I can't go back. The only thing I can do is go forward. And to realize what that forward is, where that forward is, you got to understand it is either going to happen or it's not. If you can't get past your own self, there's an expression that I use, and hey, Miss Riley, thank you for joining me, sweetheart. I appreciate it. There's an expression that I use that my broadcasting teacher used to use, and I've also heard, I believe, Mr. Wilson say this, Corey Wilson, also Miss Edwina. Sometimes you got to get out of your own way. Sometimes you got to get out of your own way. You say and do things without thinking, and it's, you see that person that sees you and has that knee-jerk reaction that makes you so angry, and you think about, why are they doing this? Why are they seeing me in this light? Why can't they just accept me for who I am? Sometimes it's a little too big for them to take. And this is the thing that I have to realize, as much as everybody else may have to realize. It takes time. It takes time. I value time now, because a lot of us, with CP or without, take it for granted. Part 3 is value. What I mean by that is whether you have CP or not, you are valuable. Whether you are at rock bottom or at the top of your game or in the middle, you are valuable. Whether you are seeking God, following God, running away from God, or trying to figure out who you want to believe in, you are valuable. Whether you're walking for the first time or you're falling for the 5,000th, you are valuable. We have to realize and know our worth and our value, because that is important. Value itself, we have to hold ourselves valuable, okay? And know our worth and our value, and know that when we go out into the world and when we've been done wrong, let me make sure that you know, because part 4 is coming up in a minute. Being done wrong, I'm not saying let people walk all over you. Understand that now. There's a difference in stepping back and trying to see what the other person's seeing and letting somebody walk all over you. That's different. Okay? You're not a doormat. You're valuable and you're important. And don't let anybody tell you that you're not worth it, because you are. And here's where it gets kind of that there's no gray area in abuse. Abuse towards CP. Verbal abuse is abuse. And if they're verbally abusing you or verbally hurting you and they don't stop, if they're asking a question that seems a little odd, that's different. If somebody asks, why are you crippled? I've had that happen. Let me explain something. That's a question, okay? As much as it hurts, that's a question. And the first thing I'm going to say is, hold up, I'm not crippled. I understand what you're asking me, but I'm not crippled. Can you please not use that word? Bam! Squash it right there. That ends it right there. Now, if they do it again and they keep doing it, I'm going to walk away. Yeah, I said it. I'm going to walk away. Now, if they're saying, oh, you're ugly, oh my God, oh, look at you drooling on you, oh, you're spasming, ha. If they're making fun of you and they don't stop and you tell them to stop, that's when you get away from the situation. You've got to know when you can actually make headway in the situation, and you got to know when it's a barrier and it's time to move. A lot of people question, they take crap they don't need to take. And I told you, I'm going to be real. Some stuff you got to deal with. Some stuff you got to understand. It's culture. Some stuff they don't understand. Okay, children are wonderful examples. Children are wonderful examples because they are not refined. They don't have the vocabulary that some of the adults on this show are going to have. They don't have that refined. But you know what they do have? Purity. If they've been raised right and they've been raised by a good family that don't let them do what they want to do, and have been taught, when they're 2 and 3, they will ask a question. And when they ask a question, it's an honest question. Why do your legs not work? Why are you in that chair? Can I have a ride? Why do you need that? And I simply say, because, darling, my legs don't work the way yours do. I can't walk by myself. I need the chair and the crutches to get around. And they smile and they walk on. Or they'll ask their mom, why is he in that chair? Because they want to know. You got to understand, children are curious. Okay? When they see something they don't understand, their brains are still absorbing what is going on in life, and they're trying to figure this stuff out. So they're going to ask their mom. They're going to come up to you. They're going to touch your wheels. They're going to touch your chair. And I know it's annoying sometimes, but they're children. Understand, they're trying to figure stuff out. They're trying to figure out what's going on. They're trying to figure out how things work because they don't know. And their parents may not be able to show them because they don't have the accessibility to it. There's only so much about CP you can learn online. Let me clarify that. I don't mean you can't search a topic about it. I mean I'm talking about the physical intervention. action. Okay? You can only work with what you see. You only see part of me right now. You can barely see my chair at all. Understand that physical and first interaction is what I'm talking about. When they interact with you, that first time is going to be awkward. Understand, it is that, Josh, but it's not. See, I don't want it to come out that way, because kids need to know. But understand, if they don't and they say something that you're not used to, don't hate them for it. Now, if they come at you swinging with a stick, trying to hurt the person, then you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes you got to tan the hat. But don't you do it. Let the parents do it. Let the parents deal with that. I'm not telling y'all to beat no kid. I ain't going there. So understand that this point that I'm trying to make is, sometimes you have to look at the person through the eyes of a child. Okay? Understand what I'm saying. You got to take that person that you might think is being ignorant and take it for ignorance. They may not know any better. Sometimes they just being stupid. Sometimes they need to have a cinder block busted to the head. Sometimes that needs to happen, but sometimes you've got to evaluate it and say, look, I don't like the way you ask that. I understand what you're trying to say, but the way you ask that made me feel. And look, when you talk about CP, don't talk about everybody who has it. Make it personable. Talk about you and your CP. Dear God, I know this guy that had CP, and he broke both his legs, and his arms were folded up like an accordion, and his toes were. No. I want to hear about your story. I don't want to hear about Uncle Phil. I ain't worried about that. Don't tell me about. And look, I've said this before too. This is part 4. You don't understand CP, and you won't understand CP in full unless you've gone through it. Let me say that again. Part 4. You can't and won't understand CP in full unless you've gone through it. People can say, oh, I've got spina bifida, I'm in a chair too. No. Spina bifida and CP are different. Every disability is different. This is big right here, guys. Pay attention. Every single disability on this earth is different, and you won't understand it unless you've gone through it in full. Let me clarify that. Man, I broke my leg last year. I was in a chair for 6 weeks. Okay. Man, I understand exactly what you're going through, man. It's hard, man. I don't know how you do it. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. You don't know jack. You got a little piece. You got 6 weeks out of your life. I got 38 years in this bad boy right here. Okay? Don't tell me you understand when you don't understand. That's bull. I don't agree with that. Okay? But I'm not saying that's the way to handle it. Let me explain that. As I said, every disability is different. You're not going to understand CP and comprehend CP unless you've been through it, unless you're the parent of a child who has it. Because let me tell you, being the parent of a child with CP, they go through stuff, boy. You think their child hurts? Dear God, yes, their child hurts. But can you imagine how much they hurt too because they can't do anything about it? The parents that go, and there are cases of CP, I mean bad cases, where they can't talk, walk, think, see, act. I mean, where it's just, their brain is just like mashed potatoes. But here's the thing. Their parents that fight for them, their parents that have been there with them and that have given birth to them and see the pain that their children go through, they hurt with their child, for their child. So here's the thing. When you break your leg or your arm or your ankle and you're in a cast or you've had surgery, you got it tough. I'm not saying you got it tough, but that doesn't mean that you understand CP. You want the easiest way to understand CP? Take duct tape and wrap your legs in duct tape 2 feet apart. Stand up on crutches and try to walk one step at a time. You want the easiest way to understand CP? Wear socks on your hands and try to put a shirt on with your wrist facing down like this. You want the easiest way to understand CP? Pick a fork up with your pinky and your thumb and eat and cut your food. You can't understand it until you've gone through it. And I don't wish CP on anybody. But this normal mess right here, or when will we be normal, we got to stop. Because no one will ever be normal because there's no such thing. I said there was only 4 parts, but I got about 10 minutes left, 15 minutes left as I close out my show. Again, if you guys have questions, ask me because I want to answer them. You know, I've heard Miss Winnie tell her story so many times, and each time she tells it, I learn something new. I learn something new. I can't really begin to tell you how powerful she is, not just as a mother, but as an advocate for CP, because um, she truly sees the growth that CP needs to have in this world, um, and being able to understand, the pain that she's gone through with Kelly. Kelly is her world, and I get that. And see that's the type of mom that I have. My mother still calls me her baby, and I will always be her baby, no matter how big I get, as far as as what that is. I just want people to understand that in this world you're going to have obstacles. But the thing you want to remember is that somebody has it worse off than you. I I don't know whether I'm considered a inspiration or not. People have told me that. Sometimes I can see it, but most of the times I can't. I don't ever see myself as an inspiration to people. But if you're out there struggling with CP and you've been working on something for years and trying to get it right, whether it's getting your shirt on, getting your socks on, driving, putting your shoes on, working with new braces, working with new crutches, trying to find an advocate group to get to, trying to find something to feel, just to feel as normal as you possibly can. I'm going to give you one piece of advice that may help you. Be yourself. Just be yourself. And understand that there are people out there fighting for you, and you may not even know it. I don't, really know how God's timing works because I can't explain it. And uh, I don't want to be that type of person that doesn't that takes the little things for granted, because everybody does it once or twice in their life, and sometimes more and sometimes less, because it's hard to sit there and see, and sometimes it's hard to take, to see a person suffer. But in that suffering and in that not getting it right or not getting it the first time or second time or fifth time or 100th time, sometimes you get it right on that 100th time, and the admiration that you feel or the success that you feel that you want to realize is important. Um, I I cannot sit there and say that I'm not thankful for everything that I've learned and I'm grateful for everything that I've got. Sometimes I may not express it the right way. Sometimes I may not do things the right way, but I am grateful. Um, Guys, I want to go over just a couple of things. I'm not sure what changes are coming or if changes are coming or not. I will let you know as I know them. Guys, just bear with me. Do me a favor. Please share this video. Please tell people about it. Because the more viewers that I get to help, and the more viewers that tune in, and the more viewers that see this and share this and ask questions about it and email me and things like that, the more topics that I can talk about. Um, the Sports Minion radio show right now is on hold until this COVID-19 mess is over, because there's so much stuff not going on, because the sports world is in limbo right now, and we're trying to see kind of what we're doing and where we're at and all that. Um, I want to leave you with the what I call the word of the day, or the inspiration of the day, and that is this: when someone asks you a question that you feel is hurtful, try to turn that question into a positive light. And when you answer it, don't answer it with anger, answer it with kindness. Because you never know what a little kindness might do. And my mom always used to say, you get more um, you get more bees with sugar than you do with vinegar. And it's one of those things, or bees with honey than you do with vinegar, I'm sorry. It's one of those things that you've got to understand as a person, that in the moment, before you answer a question or before you have a reaction, take a breath. Take a breath and stop. And think about, in that moment, in that 5-second moment that you're trying to compose yourself before you answer, try to understand why that person would ask that question, and also where they're coming from. Because sometimes to phrase the question without hurting somebody isn't hard to do, but they may not know how to do it. And like I said, sometimes it is ignorance. Sometimes it is that person that just wants to be hurtful. And if it is, you do need to get away from them. You do need to understand that it's time to move on. And this is for me as much as it for anybody else. Sometimes just be patient. Just wait. Just be the person that you are, and let that person know. If you've hurt someone, apologize to them. Don't do it through text. Dear Lord, don't do it through text. Call them. For the love of God, don't do it through email. Don't do it if you've hurt somebody. Tell them that you're sorry. And you know what? Let someone know how much you mean to them. Um, because it may not solve anything, but it's there. I I can't tell you, all the answers, because I don't have them. The only thing I can do is the best that I can to let you realize that we're going to get through this hurt and this pain, and we are going to be on top of the world. CP is going to be on top of the map, and it's continuing to do so. Guys, you can contact me on My CP Does Not Define Me, my YouTube channel. You can contact me on www.facebook.com/MyCP Does Not Define Me. You can contact me on Facebook at DJ Carter. You can contact me at Dennis Carter. You can also email me at the Sports Minion Radio Show at yahoo.com. Please continue to ask questions, suggest topics. If you'd like to possibly be a guest on the show and tune in with me, let me know. We'll talk about it and figure out what your topic's going to be. Look here, don't think I'm going to put you on this show without a topic. Don't think you're just going to come on and be doing something. If you got a CP story that you want to share or something that you want to share, talk to me, and we're going to figure it out first, okay? We'll talk about it and see if we can get you on. I love you guys. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'll be here next Wednesday, hopefully set up in my location where I usually am. Again, a special thanks to Winnie Wilson, to Kelly's Choice, Inc. If you guys have not gone to Kelly's Choice before, please go to www.kellyschoiceinc.org. Please donate to those guys. We've got the World CP Day coming up October 6th. It's going to be a virtual one-day conference from 9 to 7. You guys make sure that you tune in to that because it's going to be awesome. You can email Miss Winnie if you want to join in on that and possibly talk about it or have a topic that you want to share. It is Kelly's Choice Cares at gmail.com. Email Edwina Wilson to let her know and put your subject in, put your title in the subject. Don't send her something without no subject in there because she ain't going to read it. Y'all make sure y'all put a subject in there, please. World CP Day virtual conference. Make sure that you guys get ready for that. It's going to be a big one. If you guys have any questions for me, please email me, message me, let me know. There are some friend requests that I've gotten. If I don't know you, send me a little bit about yourself before you friend request me because I'm not going to just add you to add you. If I don't know you, I need to know a little bit about you before I add you to my Facebook. So please, please, please message me and let me know. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I always say, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. This is D to the J with the roll away because my CP does not define me or you for that matter. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I love y'all. I will see you next Wednesday from 2 to 3 because my CP does not define me or you for that matter. Thank you so much. Take care. Love you guys.